I spent the last few months rebuilding my rotted out truck camper, sealing and painting the exterior before gutting and rebuilding the interior with more clothing and kitchen storage and a bigger fridge, just in time for a trip to LTX 19 in Vancouver with my loyal feline companion, Scoop. But this week's episode isn't about that. This week's episode of Biking with Panda is about my downhill bike. Specifically, a 2017 Giant Glory 2 I picked up on Vancouver Island for just $1,400 Canadian. But was it a good deal? Let's take a look. The starting point for this bike is $1,400. Right out of the gate, I had to change the crankset since the protective bushing stripped out while removing a pedal. I took it to Cowichan Cycles to fix everything else. They modified the bent chain guide, adding $85 to the build. The bike had basically been through a battle. The brakes were completely destroyed, the levers bent, and required modification. The bike came with the original Giant saddle, which was cracked, so I replaced it with the titanium SQ Lab. The pedals were also done for, so I went with Raceface Chester. This brings our total so far to $1,944 before considering that the rear wheel is also cracked and needs replacement. So we're at $2,144 for an extremely capable steed. I loaded onto the ferry headed for the mainland, but I realized I'd actually forgotten to pick up my downhill bike from the shop. At least I had my Trance with me, so I did what I could, getting thrown around and bucked over everything. Riding park on the Trance is generally a scary experience, and it's even worse when you're not in the right headspace. I had a weird moment here on Beeline when I had to adjust my glasses, and then not too long after, I crashed hard and destroyed my gimbal, prompting me to purchase the incredibly expensive Hero 7 Black and switch to helmet or chest view. But my bad luck continued, with my rear brake pads ejecting as I hit a bridge on Blue Velvet. Had to ride the rest of the way down with only my front brake.
Said Pippin, busy setting out the food and...
On that note, I went back to the island to pick up my Glory and visit Mount Washington near Cumberland. I'd never been here before and I'd never ridden a downhill bike, so it was a completely new riding experience. The mountain peaks at 1,590 meters with just about 507 meters of descent. Not as much as Whistler's 1,500 meter drop, but just as easy to love. And they've done really well ensuring you get a lot out of it. The trails here are great for all skill levels, but I haven't yet worked my way up to double black. Oh, fuck yeah. Jumping on a downhill bike, man. Shit. Almost over-chooched that one. That's weird. Oh no. Holy fuck, man. I do like this bike. Holy shit. That's why they want you to go slow. I figured it out. Oh yeah, I haven't ridden it before. Slow the fuck down. Maybe. Oh, I like this trail. on this bike. Whoa! Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Can't do that on the trail bike. Okay, my legs are tired. Fuck. Can't go on. Just before leaving for LTX 19, I had a lesson with Next Level Riding on Zuhalem and Duncan, where we worked on cornering down Double D. I wanted to see what it would be like to plow it with the Hypnotoad, so I pushed to the top of the mountain. My brakes were still making noise from accidentally squeezing the lever while the front wheel was off, but I fixed that later, after this ride. My brakes are still doing that thing. Slap it. Oh yeah. This last climb is like, fuck you. At the end of the trail. Wasn't a big deal on the trail bike, but it did take a lot out of me. Oh yeah. That was so fucking good. Holy shit. The downhill bike is definitely overkill for Zuhalem, but I'm here to have fun. For some places, it's definitely worth pushing to the top. But in my next video, I'll show an example of when to leave the Double Crown bike at home before returning to Whistler for redemption. I'd like to thank my patrons for their support while I've been out on the road not uploading videos. For just $1 a month, you too can have access to all the raw POV content that the others have been enjoying. So until next time, you know what to do. Go ride.